It's Blepner here with another team review, and today we're going to be looking at level 50 100% IV Slowpoke in the Great League. Not Slow Bro, not Slow King, this is Slowpoke. And it gets access to the move Water Pulse, which got a huge buff this season. It's cheaper and does more damage now. And it also has access to Psyshock, which is a slightly cheaper and more energy efficient move than any of the charge moves that Slowbro and Slowking get that are Psychic type. And this fact, combined with the fact that Slowpoke is actually a lot bulkier than Slowking or Slowbro, made it a somewhat more consistent Psychic type attacker in this meta, I feel. And Water Pulse was actually surprisingly good. I expected it to not be as high damage as it was. As you can see, it does decent damage to stuff like Bastiodon, for example, which is quite impressive in this current Bastiodon heavy meta. We're pairing it up with Hakommo-o, which has access to Brick Break this season, and Brick Break does lower opponent's defense. And then we've got Shadow Credilli in the back. So let's see how this team does in action. So first off, we have Slowpoke into Altaria, and this is a pretty neutral matchup. We should get to our Psyshocks around the same time that they get to their Sky attacks. And unfortunately, because Dragon Breath is such a great move, and because Altaria is just a little bit bulkier than us in general, they will be able to Dragon Breath us down if we let this go. So we have to make a choice. We decide to shield because they have to either shield in return, or we just win this matchup. So let's see what they want to do here. And so you can see here, the confusions actually get them perfectly into range where this Psyshock will take them out. And so we do win that matchup. They have a Lantern, and we make a mistake here. We should have actually switched out. This was one of my earliest matches, so we have two answers to the Lantern. So ideally, we would want to switch into Credilli immediately, or Hakommo-o. But this is also an okay choice, just because even in the 1-2 shields, Hakommo has such a strong matchup versus Lantern. And here what I'm doing is I'm just thinking, should I throw the Brick Break? Or should I throw the Dragon Claw? And in posterity, I think that I should have gone with the Brick Break. But they actually don't give me a chance to throw. So I think that I should have thrown the Brick Break there if they had stayed in. But because they go into the Toxicroak, we do just stay in here. We actually shield, which is a questionable choice. I guess we kind of have to shield because the Credilli would just take so much damage from counters. But still, we're in a kind of tough position. We throw the Brick Break here so that we can take them out with Bullet Seeds, but they let that go. And so now I think that we actually just win this. Because believe it or not, we can just fast move them down from this point. Even though Bullet Seed is one of the worst, lowest damage fast moves in the game, you can see here that we do survive 2 Surfs, which is very good for us because that means that we can get a lot of fast move damage off here. And we probably actually should be going for a charge move. Looking back at this, we should have gone for the charge move just because I think that they could have actually farmed us down if they didn't throw this move. So it's really good that they threw here. They aren't quite at double moves yet, which means that we can take them out. So that was a very close end game. And looking back, I think the safer play was to throw the Rock Slide so that they couldn't double up on Surfs, because them doubling up on Surfs there and farming us down was actually the lose con. So here we have the Bastiodon lead that I told you guys about earlier. And this is not a bad lead for us at all because Water Pulse does a surprising amount of damage. I was used to Water Pulse being kind of a dinky move before. But yeah, that's almost getting them to 50%. And we have a solid backline for Bastiodon as well. And we bait out a Gallade. And so we just go straight Rock Slide here. You're going to see that they no-shield this Rock Slide, I think. They do shield. I'm thinking of a different matchup where they no shielded, but it makes sense for them to shield because a grass stomp would take them out. It's a little fortunate for me because it forces them to throw their move a little bit earlier than they would have been able to otherwise. But I have to think about what I want to do here. I go into the Slowpoke, which is a questionable choice because I would do more damage with my Dragon Tails if I went into hakommo-o than I'm doing with Confusions here. I wanted to catch a move, and I think that this is actually a Leaf Blade. If I've been counting correctly, this is a Leaf Blade. So we do manage to catch the move. And so this is actually probably the best case scenario here, catching the Leaf Blade. And then they come in with Bastiodon, and we're going to be able to do so much double super effective damage with this Brick Break. Boom! That's a decent amount of damage. That's about the same amount that the Water Pulse did. And now we can farm them down. We've got some beautiful, beautiful farm downs this game. And they have Victory Bell in the back, and this should be over. My mistake was not throwing the Brick Break here. Definitely should have thrown the Brick Break because that would actually guarantee our win. But luckily, we are just one confusion away from the Psyshock. So they're never going to get to 2 moves on the Victory Bell, right? So we would always get to the Psyshock no matter what because we still have a shield. And that is a good game. Next up, we have Slowpoke into Azumarill. This is another great matchup for Slowpoke because we do neutral damage with the Confusions and we do neutral damage with the Psyshocks. Solid neutral damage all around. You can see that we throw after 5 Psyshocks, which is 20 turns, and then that gives them 7 bubbles, which is 21 turns. So we're only giving them 1 turn if we throw after 5 Confusions. And here we throw after 2 Confusions because that's 8 turns, and then that gives them 3 bubbles, which is 9 turns. So it's really important to practice proper fast move timing, especially in this situation where it's 3 turns into 4 turns. And here, so we just let that go because we know that we can take them out with Credilli before they reach a move. And then, so we immediately switch, and they have a Skarmory in the back. And Skarmory is probably the hardest counter to our team as a whole. Nothing in our team really beats the Skarmory. But luckily for us, we have a shield advantage. So this is definitely not over, right? Because Brick Break, okay, so they have a Swampert in the back. We do Brick Break this Swampert. Questionable choice here, but I think that we can probably farm them down after this. Brick Break does a solid amount of damage there, to be honest. For such a weak move, really takes a chunk out of the Swampert. And we are going to shield once and farm down. And I think that we might have this game at this point because we should be able to get to double Brick Breaks. We have to throw 1 Dragon Tail, so the theme of this game is proper fast move timing, right? Because we wanted to throw proper fast moves Confusion into Bubble, and more importantly, we wanted to throw proper fast moves Dragon Tail into Steel Wing because of the fact that we got off that 1 extra Dragon Tail before we threw our moves. We were able to get to double moves. And here, this is actually not quite a Brave Bird. Luckily, they just throw the Sky Attack. I think they could have probably gotten to Brave Bird, but this is, once again, a very early ranked battle. People are not necessarily playing their best, but we're not going to look a gift horse in our mouth. That is a good, clean win, folks. Very satisfying. Double buffed Rock Slide there at the end. Or the opponent was double debuffed, I should say. So that did take them out. Next up, we have Charizard in the lead. This is a fun lead that I haven't seen in a while. I haven't seen a Charizard in general in a very long time. In the lead, it's even less common, especially the non-shadow version that we have here. And this is actually a very neutral matchup for us. This Blast Burn that they're going to throw easily puts us into Dragon Claw range. Yeah, oh yeah. And they're going to get to the Dragon Claw here. We let it go. And this is where everything goes wrong. Because we could have just shielded that. And then we could have farmed down with Confusions. But they actually get to a Blast Burn here. For some reason, I thought that I'd be able to farm them down before they got to a Blast Burn. but that basically takes out my Shadow Credilli. We do get a lot of energy, and our hope is that we can just brick break and farm down the world here. And they have a Venusaur, so this is the first step to us brick breaking and farming down the world, is being able to fast move down this Venusaur. We're not throwing the brick break yet, because it's possible that they don't shield. If they did shield here, we would want to throw the brick break so we could farm them down a little bit easier. But yeah, they don't shield. They have a Whiscash in the back. And this is looking pretty good, because I think that our bulky hakommo-o can actually survive 2 Mud Bombs from the Whiscash. But we're going to have to see. We let this move go, hoping that it's a Scald, because it's oftentimes they do Scald first. And it is a Scald, and it's looking like a Mud Bomb won't quite take us out here. We do shield, because at this point our hakommo-o is our most valuable player. But we do still have a move loaded on the Credilli, remember. So this is looking quite good for us, because we still have that move on Credilli. We can farm down the Venusaur. So it was getting a little close there. But because we have such a good fast move in Dragon Tail, we just are able to farm down. And so here we have Skarmory in the lead this time. Once again, Skarmory is probably the biggest threat to our team. However, they're not going to throw the Brave Bird first. There's just no way. And our Slowbro is tanky enough that we could survive 1 Brave Bird. So very unwise of them to throw the Brave Bird first. They do throw the Sky Attack. We throw the Water Pulse, and we are basically keeping pace with them in terms of health. The problem is that they actually outpace us even to a Psyshock here. And so that's not good. That basically means that we should just let go of the Slowpoke and come in with the hakommo-o. We do have to shield the hakommo-o once, and my hope is that we can shield once and farm down. Or we can just CMP tie. This is also, I think, an equally fine situation to CMP tie here. We do get a shield, so a shield advantage is good, but we're just going to give the shield advantage right back. And we are going to farm down now. So this is the best case scenario, is getting some energy and getting a shield from the Skarmory, and then they don't switch out. They come into Trevenant, and with an energy advantage, this is not bad at all. We're going to have to see if they shield this. They do not shield. And they're going to farm up to double Seed Bombs, just about. They're at a lot of energy now. But we do call this as a Seed Bomb, and thankfully it is, which we do, of course, live. Hakommo is a bulky little gentleman. He's much bulkier than Kommo-o. Very satisfying amount of bulk, in my opinion. And so now we have Credilli in the back. We have to hope that we can farm down the Trevenant in the 1 shield. They are very annoyingly going to get off a Seed Bomb here, and then they have Annihilate in the back, and because they catch this move on Annihilate, this is unfortunately game over. Looking back, we should have switched out at some point in order to bait out the Annihilate and take care of it with the Slowpoke. We are going to be able to take out the Annihilate with this Grass Knot. So really the catch didn't help them too much. But regardless, oh my gosh, okay. All right, I thought that game was over, but we actually managed to take out their Trevenant at the same time they took out our Credilli, and we still had the hakommo-o in the back. So wow, I really thought the game was over. But moving on, that's just showing off the bulk of Credilli, able to hold on to the very end there. But now here we have. They actually let that move go on Charge Bug. Okay, so here is the battle where the Gallade no shields. And they no shield very wisely, because they know that a Grass Knot doesn't take them out. So that's smart by them. And honestly, I think that I would have probably taken them out by now if I had Grass Knotted. So I do regret not Grass Knotting. But I do call the Leaf Blade. And so this is an okay situation, because 2 Rock Slides do, of course, take them out. But yeah, Grass Knot, looking back, Grass Knot was definitely the safe play to make. We are just going to lose this secondary matchup. And they have a good amount of residual energy. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into the hakommo-o. We're going to shield the close combat, and then we're going to actually hope that our Dragon Tail doesn't quite take them out, because we want to get another Dragon Tail off on this Gallade. And sure enough, the Dragon Tail did not take them out. I was very surprised. Must be very high rank Gallade, because that gives us a whole extra Dragon Tail. And here they have the Gligar in the back. And this is not a terrible situation for us. Probably would have been nice to Brick Break there, actually. But I think that we're okay here. We just take the Discharge. And they have no more shields. So we can shield this up. We should barely outpace them to double Aerial Aces. So they're going to reach their next Aerial Ace. Okay, so they were one off here. So they should be at the Aerial Ace here. And we throw the Water Pulse. Easily take them out. That's something that old Water Pulse wouldn't have been able to do, because it would have been more expensive. And it would have... It would have done less damage. So yeah, I think that was a good note to end on, because that was Slowpoke showing the power of the new and improved Water Pulse. A lot of Pokemon that have Water Pulse are improved or have different viability and moveset now thanks to Water Pulse. If you guys have been using a Pokemon that has access to a new move like Water Pulse, a new buffed move like Water Pulse, or a new move that has been overlooked, and you want me to try it out, or you want me to let me know that you're using it, let me know in the comments down below. Because there's a lot of Pokemon like Slowpoke, which I feel like were kind of passed over, that are actually much more viable now because of the new moveset. And yeah, let me know how you're enjoying the season so far in general. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.